welcome back. Now it's time for the discussion segment. We have someone amazing here with us today. Fashion in the 21st century is quite different from the ancient times. We've seen fashion trends evolved over time, and even marketing these styles have taken a new trend with the introduction of social media and technology in the world currently. We have here with us rather Catherine Daniel Cohn, who is a fashion designer, and we'll be discussing the fashion innovation, marketing trend, and styles with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
Yes.
Thank you so
First
much.
off, you have a beautiful smile, I must say.
Really?
Yeah, with your dimple.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so let's hear a
you.
little bit of your story, how you started, how you found yourself in the fashion industry.
Okay, so I finished secondary school in 2009, and I was really hoping to get admission same year, but I didn't. Not because I didn't pass it, but I scored very high in my post-UTME, like 79. I was more than confident that I was going to get the admission into University of Ilorin then, but I didn't. And you know, it was devastating, honestly. So I had to come back to Lagos because I grew up here, and my mom was like, "What do you want to do now that you didn't get the admission?" Because I put first choice, second. If there was any other choice, I put it in. I really wanted to go there, you know, but I didn't get it. So my mom was like, "Hey, what do you want to do?" And then this was 2009. Then learning fashion, hairdressing, and you know other skills like that were kind of reserved for like those that were not too good academically, you know. This one, she does not know book, learn work, you know, and all that. So I just said no. Because I did very well in home economics and clothing and textiles in school. So I wanted to just follow. My mom said, "Okay, fine, I'll let you in on that." And she took me to a fashion school where Adalisa Styles, where I started learning how to sew. So it wasn't popular back then, but I just found interest in it because my mom always had a sewing machine and all of that. Kind of runs in the family though, because my grandmother too. so yeah, basically that's how I got involved in fashion. I learned that year, and then I got admission the next year, and that was actually the best decision of my life because I not only learned how to sew, I learned so much more from the person I learned under then, Ayobami Kazim, such an amazing woman, you know. So all through my university days, I was in between fashion and then academics and, you know, of course, fellowship activities. You know, so it was just like that. And it's been amazing since then. I went to, I finished Uniben. I studied international studies and diplomacy, and then I went on to serve in Benue State. So when I got to Benue State, things turned dramatically because while we were at the orientation camp, you know, we had to prepare for this cultural day and then the festival night. So so since I was a fashion designer, I helped the my platoon to design their cultural outfit. So we did a Bini team, a Bini bias, because you know I'm from Edo State. So it was really beautiful and colorful, and you know they took an interest in me, like wow, because we got to sew all the costumes in camp and all that. So after that, I got opportunity to partner with NYSC and through their Said program to train core members in fashion. So we partnered that way, began to train core members, you know, made it very flexible for them in such a way that they can pay monthly with their alawi and all that. It was really fun because I got to relate with a lot more people at a different level. We're not just fellow core members now, but I was training them, and then a lot of them are doing amazing things in different parts of the country right now. And then after that, I went on to partner with EDC, Entrepreneurship Development Center. You know, we did a partnership because they were doing the entrepreneurship training, then we were doing the vocational aspects. So that's how, you know, things took on a dramatic turn for me and my fashion business in Makurdi, Benue State. And it was really amazing because I got to not just teach people, but also build relationships, impact lives. And, you know, it's amazing. You just become, you watch someone who doesn't have any idea at all about sewing, and then they can now start learning and eventually they are doing so well, and you're like, wow, you're part of that person's story, and you just become synced that way. So, you know, that was really, you know.
So when did you start your fashion?
I started in 2010.
Like
I started in 2010. I started in the university. Yeah, I started in the university. Yes, taking orders, making dresses. Wow. Yes. In fact, in my final year, when everyone was preparing for exams, I was sewing. Yeah, dinner gowns. And everyone like, well, the good thing is that I had, by God's grace, I had like a good GPA to stand on. So I wasn't under that much pressure. Like a lot of people were like, it's final year, it's 40%, you have to just do it and all that, you know. But God being so gracious, graduated very well as well. So yeah, so basically that's how I did. Oh yeah, sure, I did.
Wow,
Yeah.
this is beautiful.
Oh,
I initially thought it was just
you're ready to wear.
No, I did. I made this quite a while ago anyway, and it's still looking good.
Yeah, very beautiful.
So if our viewer now, or I don't say me, like if I want to something like this now, like how much will it cost?
Well, it depends on several factors, really. Yeah, of course, the fabric selection, and then how luxurious you want it to look. You know, because you know the fashion market is wide. This can be made for as much as 150. This can be made for 30-something thousand at the same time. It all depends on what you want your fashion to achieve and the language you want it to communicate. Because using two different fabrics to create the same style, we create two different effects. Do you understand? So language is beyond just the clothes. It's also the effects you want the dress to have on you and the message you want to pass across to people. So price is very subjective.
You are still going to talk about that price, though.
Yeah.
But let's go on.
Of course. So we're talking about fashion innovation. You said you started your business officially in 2010. That's about 13 years from now. And you definitely must have seen, you know, trends. You must have seen fashion styles, you know, change over time or evolved over time. So can you give a little bit of, you know, the fashion styles, you know, that were much popular back then and that you see you don't see anymore. You see people, you know, just basically just trying to innovate or turn it to something else. You know, there's this Oleku. I remember, of course, our grandmothers were the ones who wore Olekus during their time. That's their own. Yes, the short buba, yes, and exactly. Yes. And nowadays we don't even see it. But lately, you will see. I think maybe some years back, not even now, but then some years back, we saw that many people in events in the event industry, you see that many people now begin to wear that as part of their styles, majorly for ushers or for event coordinators, and you see them bringing it back. Oh, you see this trouser style, this is it boot cut they call it now? This wide mounted
jean. That's actually the boot cut. The boot cut.
Yes,
so that flares downwards.
Exactly.
Like
so
that.
you see people wearing it now, and they look, it's so comfortable. I love it. This, and they find a way to pair it with whatever they are wearing, you know, as their top. So can you just give us a little bit of some of the styles that you
of course, everybody remembers peplum. There was a time peplum.
Yes.
There was a time like we were like, wait, after peplum, what next? Because the peplum was so versatile, and you know, you could have 3 steps, you could have pleats, you could have gathers, you could have flares. It was just, and of course it served a dual purpose, not just a dual purpose, multifunctional purpose. Because of course, you know, most women after some time begin to have a bulge in the tummy, so it covers it, and yet it looks, and then it creates an hourglass effect. Because depending on how full the peplum is, your waist looks small, and then it covers the stomach, so it widens the silhouette on the hip line, and it was really good. But of course, you know, we found a way around the tummy thing with the corset.
Yes.
You know, basically, people were using the peplum to, apart from the fashion statement, in fact, it was beautiful, but they were using it to hide the tummy as well. But now, you know, you can't snatch it in, you know.
We're definitely still going to talk about this corset of redeem. And let me just even ask it now, since we're talking about fashion innovation. We remember corset was back then, the 19th.
Not even, the corset is 16th, 17th century fashion.
And now seeing it back here in the 21st century, like, why is that?
It's because, you know, apart from the fact that there's nothing new under the sun in that sense, it's the fact that fashion is fast, and then fashion also recycles. Yeah, there's what we call the fashion cycle. A trend gets introduced into the market, and then it's all the rave, like the way the corset thing was for the past 3 years, and it's all the rave. Everybody has to do corsets with the highlights and all of that and everything, and then, you know, it rises, and then eventually it falls. You understand? So ultimately, by the time you look at almost every style trend that comes out, you will see that it comes in, it becomes accepted, everyone is going for it, and then after a while it will still fall. You understand? So that's still the way it was, because even when we're talking about corset, the Elizabethan corset, you know, the Tudor corset, all kinds of those corsets, there were times where they were the heyday of fashion in their time, but after a while it began to, okay, women were beginning to, in the 18th and 19th century, seek more versatility, of course, freedom in that sense of, okay, you know, we don't have to be all snatched in and all caught up. We want more relaxed styles. And then we saw the Grecian kind of dresses with the drapes, you know, all these asymmetric fashion. It's just we call it in fashion bias cut. Do you understand? So it's more of, it has a lot of folds and drapes, and basically it accentuated the body without pulling it in. And you know, that became, you know, much of the norm after a while. And then we began to see women go into more practical clothing, like, you know, trousers and all of that. So all of these things, fashion, it serves multiple purposes, apart from the basic fact that it is a primary need for humans to cover up and all that, but it also serves the purpose of functionality. It also serves the purpose of making, you know, fashion statements and all of that. So all of these styles that, you know, seem to be like you were talking about the boot cut now. In fact, my sister used to wear a lot of boot cuts in this was early 2000s, you know, and she had those boot cut trousers, and she was like, right now it's the boot cut thing, and like, why did I throw all those my trousers away? In fact, she actually had to go unearthing wardrobes, and she still found some that she even, you know, shared some with me and all of that. So, you know, that's the way it is, and because of the fashion circle, you know. So basically, all of these things, we will constantly see styles coming out, being the rave, and then they go away after a while.
So you're speculating that, you know, corsets will definitely leave.
It definitely will.
I'm really hoping and waiting for
that. Because you want to breathe. I was going to ask you that, please. What birthed corsets? Like, what brought it? Because I don't get why I should want to sew. I have an experience. I don't get why I should want to sew corsets, and a fashion designer, I don't know how much you charge. And a fashion designer would tell me I have to pay 25,000 naira for corsets.
Actually
cheap.
Very affordable.
I know she was going to say that.
Very
and
affordable.
wait, why will I use my money to buy stress pain for myself? Because I want to be sad. Okay, let me tell you my experience. I wore corsets to a friend's wedding. My first, it was very beautiful. Very beautiful. In fact, it snatched my tummy. But as soon as I wore it, say about 5 minutes later, I started having stomach disorder for like 10 minutes. It wasn't so intense like that, but I knew there was something wrong and all of that. And then after about 10 minutes, it subsided. And I was like, why did I use my money to go and buy wahala for myself?
Well, because just like you said, you wanted to be snatched.
Yes.
You wanted to look good. You wanted to have that, you know, the corset creates this hourglass figure.
Yes.
And as much as fashion, the ideal fashion, that's the ideal fashion woman, has evolved over time, because of course there was a time where not too long ago, like 20 years ago, it was the slim, tall figure that was the ideal fashion figure. So you have models all slim, tall, and with very long legs and all of that, you know, but it over time evolved into having more of an hourglass figure. So now even the corset thing we're talking about, particularly for Nigerians, it's not just the waist that is being snatched in, there is also the padding on the hips to create the hourglass effect. Do you understand? Okay, so but this is because people want to have that ideal look.
So there's a pad. Well done.
In most cases, there is. You know, but of course, where fashion is concerned, the purpose matters. Now, even the people or the celebrities or even you talked about going to a wedding on a Saturday. Yeah. Do you understand? Or whatever other day it is, because we have weddings happen on a lot of other days these days. You know, it's for that function. Do you understand? You don't wear the corset every other day. Because you're at work now, you need to breathe. There are work tension, you have to move around places and all of that. True. So also if you also look at the fashion landscape, you will discover that there are fashion for different purposes. So there are also styles for working, and a lot of, even as a fashion trend, we have boo-boos as a trend now. Like, you know, the rich auntie vibes and all of that. True. These are comfortable wears that still make bold fashion statements. And the boo-boo thing is, it is in levels. You know, you could have it at all levels, achieve different looks of luxury, depending on the fabric and how it is accessorized, you know, and of course the hype that is you know, added to it, because you know, in the social media age, there's also a lot of hype you know, to pump things up to
and that's where I want to bring my question from. We realized that, okay, we are in the social media age, and then you mentioned something about the ideal body type. Now I want to ask, is there an ideal body type? You know, because of the introduction of social media, we feel like what many people talk about online is the right thing. You know, there's this social construct that says that, oh, because many people are talking about this particular thing, then it makes it right, of which it is not actually true in all cases. So you see, oh, the hourglass, if you do not have your hourglass body type or the hourglass feature, then that means that you are not just it. Or if you do not have your hips or your bum padded, then it is not, you're not giving. You know, there's this slang, it's not giving what it's supposed to give and all of that. So first off, is there an ideal body type?
Well, if we are to look at it in the way it should be approached, there is no ideal body type, because God created us uniquely differently, you know. And of course, if we want to bring it down into fashion and talk about different silhouettes, that's body type. Now we have the A shape, we have the hourglass, you know, we have different, the apple shape, the pear shaped, and all of that. But what is simply, that is even just a way of categorizing women into different looks that their bodies have. But it is vitally important for every woman, particularly in this age, to recognize that you're created uniquely different, and then you have to love yourself, because that's where everything stems out from. You know, a lot of people are under pressure to conform to what should be. Like I just talked about, there were times when, you know, people starved themselves because they wanted to be slim, because they wanted to be the ideal model type. And even most of these models in the industry, a lot of them, they go on starvation. I won't even call it starvation, just to maintain that, you know, slim look. And then of course now we found that, and for women really, we don't rest. Like whether the hips is padded, you can buy the hips, you can have your tailor construct it for you. You can, you know, we just go at different lengths, because we want to fit into an ideal that society has created. So if you want to follow after every trend, and you know, just, you can say that there is an ideal type, oh, it's the hourglass and I want to look at that. But in the real sense of what should be, it is important that you appreciate it. Of course, you take care of your body. You shouldn't be overweight, because these are things that can be controlled, you know. But then I'm talking about the pressure, and the pressure is real, just like you said. I mean, if you're not looking like this, then you're not giving. I mean, you're not dripping. You know, people want to drip, they want to give, they don't want other people to breathe.
Exactly. And now let's see, I'm talking about what I ordered versus what I got. Now this is part of all social media. You see a style on social media, and then you're like, oh, you give it to your tailor or your fashion stylist to recreate, and then that's where the problem begins. The stylist is literally, you know, just cracking her head, or racking her head rather, on how to cut it, or how to cut it to the perfect shape for your body and all of those things, which is still part of, you know, it's part of social constructs. It should, can all fashion styles be can everybody, rather, I want to question in a better way, can everybody wear any type of fashion style or any type of style, basically?
Well, the answer is is most likely a no, because bearing in mind the fact that women are shaped differently.
Yes.
You know, so that has to be taken into consideration in the process of creating styles. But then, of course, we know when we're talking fashion innovation, and of course, one of the marketing trends in not just in Nigeria but world over is collaboration with celebrities and style icons that people look up to. And I mean, we start mentioning names of Nigerian celebrities, we wouldn't go too far, because most of them have this hourglass shape that we're talking about. And okay, a style is sewn, for example, for Mercy Johnson, and then you want to make that style, you know. It's for the designer, usually you should interact with your client and let them know how best you can work with them for them to achieve a look that fits them and then brings out the best of their bodies. All right, so but most times people don't go through these processes, because, and I have to give kudos to Nigerian fashion designers, because in the last 10 years the fashion industry in Nigeria has grown astronomically. And like I said earlier when I started learning how to sew, that wasn't the case, because fashion was reserved for a certain class of people. But of course, with the lack of white collar jobs, and then the government also began to emphasize people acquiring skills and all of that, and with the influx of elite minds into the fashion industry, I mean, you don't have to go too far to see that there are so many fashion designers who know their onions, who are doing exceptionally well, and they are doing amazing things. All right, so what that means is that there are options. So people who fall victims to what I ordered versus what I got, that is not what you ordered, you know, that you got. All right, it's because of different things. The price margin, because most of these styles, the style you want to copy, for instance, was made for hundreds of thousands of naira, probably running into the million. You pick an AMVCA dress and you give it to a tailor by the corner of
behind your house,
and then you say, make this for me, and then you give the person 25,000 or maybe less or slightly more, and then you want to achieve that look. I mean, those things are unrealistic. I tell people, if you want to get what you ordered, please contact the original designer. However, a lot of Nigerian fashion designers will still give you very good results. Very good results. But one thing you must also realize is that they are not two originals, in the sense of fashion is a work of art. And many of these dresses are crafted. In fact, most of you won't even see the fabric that you want to use to recreate the style, because the fabric was created for, it was beaded out or probably stoned out to achieve that look. Do you understand? So you can't get the same thing if you contact the original designer, because it's like art. Do you understand? So no matter how much you're trying to copy, it can't be the same.
Talking about hats, and you talked about illustration and all of that. I've seen some fashion designers having to do an illustration of what they want to sew. Why must it be like that? Must you illustrate? Can't you just use your head too? Because there was someone that came here some time ago that said he illustrates for fashion designers, like he gets paid for it on a normal do you have to do that? Okay,
so you see, in the fashion industry there are different careers.
Okay,
do you understand? So topmost you would see the fashion designer. Ideally, the fashion designer sees, he conceptualizes an idea and then follows through the process to bring that idea into the finished look. Now, of course, in fashion design, it's not just clothes. We have bags, we have jewelry, but I'm just narrowing down to clothes since that's what we are primarily talking about, all right? So the fashion designer conceptualizes the idea. It is good that a fashion designer should be able to illustrate, because what are you trying to do? Even the Bible says, write the vision, make it plain. I mean, you see it, and then you put it into form, you put it in 2D or 3D, as the case may be now. Do you understand? That guides, because usually in that line there are different careers. So now a fashion illustrator, if you're not the one illustrating it, now we have career fashion illustrators. I mean, Stella Freak, an amazing one. There is Mimi O'Karen, there is, you know, Tia Taylor. There's so many. And it is awesome because the fashion industry is broad and open to accommodate, you know, different talents into it. So it is important, all right? And that is the reason why, to really stand out as a fashion designer, you should be able to have original ideas. And you don't have to do everything yourself. If you can't do it, you can communicate with the fashion illustrator. Okay, I want this look for my client. It's a 50th birthday. I mean, it's a golden jubilee. So let's have a gold theme. Let's have some luxury. Let's have to, and you know, communicate. The fashion illustrator is artistic, and then you can create a sketch. And when that comes out, then the pattern drafter comes in. All right. Or if it's not pattern drafted, it can be, you know, draped on a form. All right. So that now comes in and then brings in all together, gets that fashion sketch into a pattern, and then works it. So what am I trying to say is that the fashion industry is broad. There are different careers, and then it now goes over to the tailor or the seamstress, and as it were, who now does the actual sewing. Many times there is first a test garment, but Nigerians, we don't go through that process again. We just
go straight to the point.
Sincerely, I think we are still going to bring you back to this show,
exactly.
because there's so much to talk about. But time is really fast spent this morning.
Yes, thank you so much.
Are you open to coming back?
Yeah, sure.
We'll be glad to have you here again. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. So that's how far we can go on the discussion segment for today. We'll take a short break to continue with Daybreak Africa. Just stay with us.